Sup, y'all, and welcome to Press On Sports. I'm Jack Vita. Today is going to be very fun. We have a lot to talk about in a short amount of time. Today we got a lot to comment on the NBA playoffs. Definitely talk a little bit of Stanley Cup playoffs. Then we're going to get into a little bit of crosstown baseball here in Chicago. We'll touch on that briefly, but it should be a lot of fun. It's a great time in sports right now. If you haven't already, you should subscribe to the Press On Sports podcast on iTunes. Just search Press On Sports on iTunes. Follow us on Podbean and continue to look for us where you can find podcasts. We're not everywhere, but we're getting out there. At this moment, I'm being joined by Evan Myers.
Hey, what's up, Jack?
Evan, great to have you back once again.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, you definitely are the leader. I think we've had, this is number 8, and this is, your 5th or 6th time coming on?
Sounds about right. I'm just about a regular now, so
yeah.
I love coming on here, though.
Yeah, lots of fun, so great to have you here. You're big on basketball, so I know I wanted you on here at this time of year, and I'm sure we'll be talking a lot over the next couple of months.
Yes, for sure.
So, Evan, I want to introduce a new segment, though, before we get into all the good stuff, all right?
All right.
Stop me if this is dumb, okay? I'm going to pitch this to you.
Let's hear it.
All right. How about a segment? Let's call this maybe Ballpark segment or Ballpark features. Something, the name's not great, but whenever we go to a game this year, and maybe it's a different sports venue, it could be, maybe not NBA places. It might, different. A lot of arenas are pretty similar, but baseball in particular, it's the start of the baseball season. We just went to a game this weekend, and each park is just so unique. I think it'd be fun if we talked about our experiences at these parks briefly.
I like that idea a lot. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, Evan, how many different venues have you been to?
Oh man, I'm about to be exposed here. 2, sadly.
I'm talking if we're gonna include baseball, football.
Oh, okay.
Basketball, hockey.
It's got to be close to 10, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. So I've been to the Bradley Center, and I've been to whatever the field house or whatever it's called in Indiana.
Yes. Yeah, Banker's Life Field House.
Yeah. So, and I felt like they were basically the same experience. So, in some regards, obviously, right. Yeah. So, we'll talk about whenever we have a unique experience. Like I went to the Oracle one time in Oakland for the Warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a pretty unique experience.
The Oracle, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty loud in there.
Yeah. So I thought it'd be fun if throughout this podcast, whenever we hit up a new one, or maybe just revisit an old one, especially with these baseball parks, be fun to comment a little bit on the experience. It's a little traveler's guide.
I like the idea. Yeah, that sounds cool.
Yeah. We don't have enough between the two of us and even some of the other guys who come on the podcast. I don't think we have enough to make an entire podcast series out of this. But, hey, we went to a game on Sunday.
We did.
Yeah.
Beautiful Miller Park up in Milwaukee.
So this is probably like the 7th or 8th time I've been there, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, you've probably been there about the same amount as I have.
I've been there. Yeah, I've been there a lot, honestly.
Yeah,
that's the main park I've been to, definitely.
Mine is Wrigley, and I've been to about, maybe 9 different baseball parks. I've been to Soldier Field for football. Not very unique experience there. Definitely some different college venues. I guess we weren't really including those when I asked you, Evan.
Right.
And then I've been to maybe 4 different NBA venues, and then I've only been to 1 hockey game in my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you real quick, Jack, before we get into Miller Park. What's your favorite venue to watch a sporting event? Is it Wrigley?
Well, I'm biased there. I have to say Wrigley, right?
Right.
I've been there. I've been to Wrigley probably somewhere between like 30 and 45 times.
Wow.
Yeah, and I try to go out some. I mean, I go to at least 3, 4, or 5 games each summer. So, and a few years ago, I went 10 times as my personal record in summer.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but I love Wrigley. It's just it's such a classic venue. It's so much history there. However, if I'm talking outside of Wrigley, because Wrigley's just it's in a different category, really, right? There's Fenway and Wrigley. You can't really compare those to anything else, I don't think.
Right.
So I would say AT&T Park in San Francisco.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean that's a pretty popular pick. Won't go too far into that today. But Evan, you had a fun time at Miller Park. This was our first game of the season.
First game of the season. I had a blast. I love that place up there. It's so cool. The roof was closed, unfortunately, although it was warmer outside. But I don't know. I thought it was a great time, Jack. What about you?
Yeah. So do you know what the guidelines are? Why the roof had to be closed? It's got to be over 60 degrees or something?
60, 65. I don't know. It's somewhere around there. I think that it has to be over that for them to open it. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I was sweating outside walking up to the park.
Yeah, you guys all had jeans and hoodies on. I wanted to come with my shorts.
Yeah, it was a good move.
Worked out, yeah.
But Evan, let's briefly just touch on for those who haven't been to Miller Park, let's talk about the food that we ate there.
Ooh, yeah.
That's one of my favorite things about going to these ballparks is trying the unique food.
Right.
And it's some good stuff. So what did you eat, Evan?
Well, I didn't have anything over the top. I did have a brat, though. I almost always get a brat, put some sauerkraut and stadium sauce on there. That's almost always my go-to. So that's all I had. I was thinking about getting one of those AJ Bombers burgers.
Yeah.
Saw you eating one of those, Jack. So what did you all get, Jack?
Yeah, so so for those that don't know, there's a restaurant in Milwaukee. It's called AJ Bombers, and they have really good burgers. I think probably the most noteworthy thing that they have is they have a burger with crunchy peanut butter on the burger.
Yep.
Mixed, and then they also have their special sauce. And whenever you have special sauce, I'm in. I'm trying that sauce. It's one of the things I love about In-N-Out. So I got an AJ burger. It was not the one with peanut butter. Sadly, they did not offer that in the ballpark. However, I had a burger. Just, it was pretty simple cheeseburger with the special sauce, and then I also had a brat because you got to have a brat when you're in Wisconsin.
You have to.
Yeah.
It's an unwritten rule.
Yeah. I mean, Culver's is a symbol of what Wisconsin is in terms of food. Although they don't have brats, but the frozen custard, the root beer, the
cheese curds.
Cheese curds, yeah, that's cheese
butter
curds being
burger.
the big one. Butterburger, yeah. So I sadly have not been to Kopp's, which is a popular restaurant in Milwaukee. Have you been there?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Good spot.
Good, yeah.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I had a brat and I put some sauerkraut on there. I put some of the stadium sauce. Again, love it whenever there's a special sauce, and then a little bit of relish on there. It was delicious.
Nice. And you were going to try the, what were those called? The brachos?
Brachos, yeah.
Yeah.
So they have some kind of, it's like sour cream and nachos and fried cheese, I think.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, on a stick.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't see it, but I heard it's a big deal. So next time I go to Miller Park, I'm going to get it, but they had run out. Like, they had just shut down their stand when I got over there. So
for sure, next time we got to get the bracho.
And so, Evan, we sat up in the 400 level in the infield.
Yes, we did. We had a good view.
Yeah,
I liked it.
$20 seats, the cheapest ones we could get.
Yep.
I don't even know where our seats were supposed to be.
Hey, but we got a bobblehead out of it.
Yeah, free bobblehead, Eric Thames, home run bobblehead. Have you figured out how to assemble that bobblehead yet?
I have it, yes.
Okay, you figured it out?
I figured it out.
Okay. Yeah, I still need to set him up on my desk.
Yeah. No, he's looking good on my desk up there in a home run stance. Like, just cranked one.
Yeah, solid game too.
Oh, it was. It was a great game. I know the one thing I really liked about it, just real quickly, was Jeremy Jeffers came in. I think it was in the 6th inning, just in a jam. Bases loaded, no outs. Was able to get 3 outs, and he was fired up coming out of the game. He was
fired up.
Yeah, it was awesome to see that emotion out of a guy like that. He was jacked and getting the crowd into it. So I think that was kind of the turning point of the game.
Pretty good turnout too from the fans.
It was, yeah. Nice Sunday afternoon game. It would have been nice if the roof were open, but yeah, it's still nice.
Definitely, and also we got to play at the plate, which was exciting.
Yeah, right at the start there we did, and we got to see it pretty with a pretty good view from where we were at. So. And
Christian Yelich hit a home run while we were getting snacks.
Yes. Yeah, we were getting snacks watching that Bucks Celtics game on the TV out in the concourse.
Yeah.
Had a decent crew watching that one, so.
Real quick, Evan, and then that was a good transition point to get to the NBA playoffs, but we'll take another minute or so. What do you think is unique about Miller Park compared to other parks?
About Miller Park. Honestly, I like the cleanliness aspect, and it seems very family oriented and friendly. I don't know. You always get obnoxious fans anywhere, but when I've been there, it's a good place to go. It's where my parents took me growing up. They felt comfortable taking all of us kids there from a young age, and it's clean. It's relatively affordable. You've got some cool little, you got the slide out there that Bernie likes to slide on. You've got the roof. So there's some cool elements to Miller Park that make it unique from different ones. So that's what I like most about it.
Yeah, I love the slide. It's great.
Yeah.
The first time I remember seeing Miller Park was when they had the All-Star game there in the Home Run Derby, 2002.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it ended in a tie.
Right.
And then the first time I went there was around 2007, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. I like it a lot. So.
Yeah, and it helps that it's not that expensive.
Right.
It's affordable, and one of our buddies was commenting on the center field wall being unique and how it's like a rectangle basically in the deepest part of the park. So if someone's going to hit one off the wall there and it rolls and it hits that side, then it's going to take a weird bounce, and few center fielders know how to play that bounce. So you may get an inside the park home run, you may see a triple, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love it when it hits that spot out there. It just bounces right off, shoots off across the other side.
Yeah, and as you said, very fan friendly. I didn't think the prices on food were outrageous.
No, it wasn't bad.
I know a lot of people like to save money when they go to a game, but I think if you set aside money, so I think my burger was just under $8. The brat was just under $6. If you say, hey, here's $15, I'm going to spend that on food. I mean, and you go to a lot of places to eat where you spend that much money. I mean, I went out to lunch with someone, spent $20 last week.
Right.
And so to have good food and a fun atmosphere.
And they let you bring in unopened bottled water, which I think is pretty cool.
And pop, too, which I didn't know.
Yeah, so I got to remember that next time.
Yeah. So lots of fun there at Miller Park. The other thing about it being fan-friendly that I would just quickly comment on is the fact that they gave out bobbleheads to every single fan that came into the park.
Yes.
Every fan.
That's unique. You don't see that often. I mean, you were just talking about the Cubs not doing that.
Yeah. The Cubs are a little cheaper, even despite the amount of money they have. They know that the fans are going to come out no matter what. But, I mean, it was a good turnout for this game. I think even if there wasn't a bobblehead, we still would have seen a pretty strong turnout from the fans. People are excited about Milwaukee baseball, despite the fact that they're playing a pretty bad AAA level Marlins team.
Yeah, still they got the sweep though. They looked good. They got some young players that I like, so it's a good time I think for Milwaukee.
All right, Evan, let's go over to NBA playoff action. Man, it's been crazy, hasn't it?
It has. A lot of these series have gotten tight all of a sudden. It's been a lot of fun this last couple weeks now.
There's been a great chippiness aspect to these series that I haven't seen in the NBA playoffs in a really long time.
Yeah, I wish the officials would let them play it out a little bit more. But yeah, and just about every game I've seen some guys start going at each other.
And a lot of people have commented that this era of stars is a little softer. And, you look at the banana boat guys going on vacation together, riding in a banana boat together.
Yeah.
But we've gotten to see, and I don't really know what this is a product of. Maybe you have a theory or two, Evan, but we're seeing a lot of these teams, just like in the 90s or even when we grew up in the 2000s, these teams where they play each other 5-6 times in a row and they get really sick of each other.
Yeah, I don't know what you can attribute to that, but it is interesting that you note that, and you're starting to get more of these rivalries now. I think guys are starting to settle a little bit more. I still think that this is a soft, and I don't want to go into all this, but I think it is.
Okay.
I think it is a softer era that we are in, not only in sports but in more things too. But yeah, I don't want to get into all that, but I do like that there is some competitiveness, and it's not quite Bad Boy Pistons or even early 2000s Pistons or any of those other chippier teams, the Knicks in the 90s with Starks and all them. But
yeah,
no, I think it's definitely a good time for the sport. I like that there's a lot of new faces leading teams. We've got some younger guys that we may have seen in the playoffs before, but now they're really taking a step forward. And we can get into that in a second. But it is fun. It seems like it's a growing time for the NBA. It's not as predictable as it once was, so it's definitely nice for that.
Yeah, it's been more competitive all around. I do think, as you mentioned, Evan, it could be a product of just the way the officials are calling it these days.
Yeah, it could. Yeah,
because they are really trying to control the game, and I'd like to see them swallow their whistles a little more. At least, you can assess fouls, but we get a little too. I don't know how to say this.
No, but I know what you're saying. And one thing I've been preaching for a while is the best official is the one you don't notice. So, when they do swallow their whistle, or they shouldn't be the ones trying to run the show. Just let the guys go out there, play, and then you're just there to set up the guidelines around it. You don't need to be the star of the show. So,
yeah, I guess I'm saying is, I think we got to call fouls, absolutely. And we should call travels. We should call a lot of things that don't get called. But we don't want to, and this is what we don't want, is we don't want to just be giving out these flagrants like they're candy.
Right.
Or these technical fouls. Let the guys go at it. That's good entertainment.
Exactly. It's good entertainment, and it's just, you're not, I don't know. All of sports is getting a little too much. There's too much control almost. You just got to kind of let it play out.
Yeah. And it's actually quite funny, Evan, because we had these baseball brawls a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And the MLB Twitter handle was promoting these fights.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that says. It's a little hypocritical in some capacities. However, the league officials aren't running that Twitter handle, but that's stuff that they see they can promote their league around.
Right.
On social media.
Exactly. I just think, this is a little off topic, but I always think NASCAR, that they always show the crashes. They don't show necessarily the wins. So it's kind of it is a little hypocritical. You try to take something out of the sport, like a flagrant or something, but then you also promote that because people tune in to see that. They don't always know when they're going to see some guys get at each other, and is this Twitter rivalry real in real life too? So
what I like is guys that go to war, and you see this best in hockey, where they get in fights and they get chippy with each other, but at the end they say good game and they have great sportsmanship. Yeah. That's what I want to see.
Right. They get all their aggression out, the refs let them do that, and then they they're able to say good game afterwards.
Yeah. So let's today, to be clear, so today is Tuesday, April 24th. By the time people are listening to this, it will probably be the 25th on a Wednesday. So there are a few games that we aren't really going to be able to talk a whole lot about because they'll happen in the time that we're editing this podcast. So real quick, Evan, the games that we will not have a whole lot to talk about tonight: the Bucks and Celtics going to Game 5. I'm sure we'll comment on that series. Heat and Sixers, and this is Game 5 as well. Philly
Game
up
5,
3-1.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think it's pretty safe to assume that the Warriors are going to close out the Spurs by the time people hear this podcast.
Yeah, especially with it being in Oakland again.
Evan, do you know what happened in Game 4? Because, we were at that game, and I never saw any footage from that game.
I did not watch much either. Because we were at the Brewers game. I just know the Spurs seemed to control it most of the time when I was checking the scores and stuff.
Okay, a couple of conspiracy theories here. You ready for these?
Oh, let's hear them.
All right, number one, is there any chance that Kerr was trying, being a disciple of Popovich, playing for him, everything, playing on the Spurs, winning a championship with the Spurs, he loves Pop, they're good friends. Any chance he wanted to just be nice here and give him one?
I don't think so. maybe, but as a competitor, no, you can't give up games like that.
Okay, how about, here's another one. I saw this one floating around on Twitter. I don't know if this is even correct, but some people were saying, hey, if this series goes a little longer, then they can buy some time for Curry to come back in round 2.
Now, I could see that. That sounds more. I still don't know about that. I think you want to win any game that you play in. But that makes more sense, I would think.
I don't exactly know how they would have implemented that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They should close it out tonight, though. I think it's done.
All right, so that one's done.
Yeah.
Bucks and Celtics is a weird series.
Man, that series is just... it's just gone right around, flipped right around.
It's just, I don't even know what the Bucks are at this point. They're so confusing.
Giannis, man.
Yeah.
He's looking good.
He's looking good.
And you know who else is looking good is Chris Middleton. That guy is really playing well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And so, I expected the Celtics to sweep them after Game 2. I still like the Celtics moving forward in this series, but hey, good for the Bucks, protect home court. I'm curious to see how stretched out the series, if this series goes to 7, or if one of these two teams just takes over the series now.
Bucks and 6, you know what they say.
I know one guy who used to say that, and he doesn't say that anymore.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think it could go to 7. I think there's a shot for that. But I think Boston's probably the better team. They're smarter. They don't have necessarily the best player on the floor, though.
No.
So that is a big time factor moving forward. But I don't know. It's a best of 3 series from here on out, so we'll see.
And then the other one that we mentioned, Philly and Miami. I think there's a little more to talk about with this series. Just looking back on what we've seen so far, we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on each of these because we have some other stuff we want to get to. However, I think Miami could stretch this out. However, I do think Philly has a good stranglehold on this series at this point.
Yeah, I think I think with the game being in Philly tonight, Tuesday, I think it's over. I don't know. Down the stretch, the Heat, Wade seemed to try to be doing too much at times.
Yeah.
And you know how high I am on the Sixers. I mean, I had them going East Finals, so I think this is a legit team that closes them out tonight. But we'll see. I mean, Miami they're full of some veteran guys that know how to handle adversity. So I don't know.
Yeah, Miami's disappointed me because we saw what they were capable of in Game 2. But since then, I mean, Wade had a great game. It seems like ever since then, like you said, he's tried to do too much. He's got to understand that he's a role player right now. He's not the same guy.
Right. The problem with that, though, is that no one else has really stepped up for them, and he's been the guy. I mean, he had 25 points the other night, shot 10 for 22, which is, that's a lot of shots to take. But, I think he almost feels the need. This is my team. There's no other superstar on this team. I'm going to try to take over and be that superstar.
There is a superstar.
Who's a superstar?
The Dragon.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know. I think
you love Dragic.
Dragic should get the ball at the end of the game because even if he's not taking the shot, they have shooters on that team, and he sets them up really well to get good looks.
You love Goran Dragic just as much as I love Rob Gray.
I don't know about that. But, I mean, hey, I think he's been a little bit underrated. People got to see a little bit of what he's been able to do. And if we want to talk chippiness, taking in that layup and seeing Philly upset about that added a nice oomph to the series. However, it seems to have ignited a fire in Philly, and they've shut those boys down since.
Yeah, definitely.
But I saw a couple of just really bad possessions at the end of, was it Game 4? Game 4 from Wade. Yes. He missed a free throw. He tried to do too much, and yeah, I think like a team like that really needs to be playing with the lead in a series. I don't like their chances with their backs to their wall.
No, I'm with you. If they were to win tonight, though, I do think they have a shot to win 6 and go to 7. I mean,
I think so too.
It's easy to say right now, but I do think that is a possibility. So tonight is a big time game, even though it seems like Philly's got control. They can't let up. They got to take care of business now, otherwise, the tables could flip on them real quickly, and all of a sudden, you got a team full of young guys that are playing in a Game 7. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get out of that. Greetings once again to everyone who's listening to us in the future, knows the outcome, and is laughing at us right now. Let's talk about, I think there are 2 real big headlines. Actually, I mean, there are quite a few. What do you think is the biggest headline at this point, Evan? Coming out of the weekend.
I don't know if I can pick one.
All right, I'll give you one.
Yeah, go for it.
The ascension of Anthony Davis. I think he's gotten a little lost in the shuffle because of the bigger names and bigger markets in some of these other series.
Yes. It's funny you say that, because that's what I was kind of alluding to when I was saying, we've got guys that we've maybe seen before or we haven't seen. In this case, we have seen him, and all of a sudden it's a new face stepping up and really taking over.
I feel like, I think that he has a great chance to be the next face of the league. Obviously, there are a lot of guys that you could put in that conversation.
Yeah.
But I love what I have seen from him over the past 3 months playing the center position, which is a position he's never had any interest in wanting to play, and playing it at a very elite level.
Yeah, he's doing really well. It almost makes you wonder if they're better off without Cousins. I mean, I don't want to get into all that yet, but he has been playing well, and I think some credit also needs to go to Rondo. I know.
Yeah.
You like Rondo, right?
Yep.
You like his.
I
game.
said these guys have a shot coming in.
You did.
I didn't think they were going to sweep them, but.
Yeah, I don't know how many people thought that, but no, he's playing well. And then Drew Holiday.
Oh yeah.
Drew has just been balling out, and I think. I don't know if you mentioned it on a couple podcasts ago, but his move to to more of like a 2-guard position
Yeah.
instead of playing point, I think it's definitely helped him out. That's where he thrives.
Yep. I'm with you, Ev. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Also, let's give some credit to Alvin Gentry, who earned that extension big time. Even for just getting the 6th seed, I think he earned that extension. They said he agreed to it before the series even started. And, man, he did a great job with his team so far.
Yeah, and if where was he coaching a couple years ago? Golden State.
Yeah.
So we could see that coming up here in the second round if Golden State takes care of business. We could see Gentry facing off against his old team.
And I think that I don't know. I think that this team could give Golden State some trouble if they're banged up.
If they're banged up, yes. Even if they are banged up, I think Golden State takes care of it in 5 or 6. But yeah, it's an interesting team. It's really strange. I don't know who's going to match up against Durant. They don't really have a small forward. Each Moore has been playing there, which is kind of strange. Darius Miller has looked good off the bench, but you look around the league, who can guard Durant? Not many people. So, I don't know how the Warriors are gonna guard Anthony Davis. Oh, that's a good point too, because they don't really have much.
And I think I gotta be careful here. I think Draymond's defense may be just a tad bit overrated. I think he's a very good defender, but I just don't think he's a guy who could shut down Anthony Davis.
No, I think, I don't know. I think you would need a guy more like JaVale McGee to almost try to get in his head or something.
Yeah.
But it's almost, exactly. It's going to be almost one of those trade-offs. Durant's going to get his, Davis is going to get his.
Yeah.
And then it's just up to the second and third options. So.
Okay, I saw something I loved out of Rondo on Saturday. So did you see that beef between him and Zach Collins?
I did, yes.
Yeah, so quick summary. I don't exactly know where it all started. I'm sure it all starts with talking, right?
Yeah.
So this is my favorite thing I've seen so far in terms of these beefs. Rondo slapped a ball out of Zach Collins' hands, and then, or was it Rondo or did someone else? And then Rondo came over. Yeah. Okay. So Rondo then said something to him and started coming in on him, and Zach Collins just pushed him. Right? That was basically what it was, yeah. And so then they line up at the free throw line, and Rondo says, I want to line up next to Zach Collins on the rebounds just to stand next to him and keep this going. And then I'm pretty sure Terry Stotts just pulled Zach Collins out of the game and was like, we're not letting this happen. Like, this needs to stop. Who would you have your money on in a fight, though, Evan?
Oh, I'd have to go with Rondo.
Yeah, me too.
But, Zach Collins has every right to be upset. I mean, Rondo stripping a ball out of someone's hands like that. You're going to get upset. But, I would put my money on Rondo.
Yeah, I'm not saying that either guy was in the wrong.
Right.
I'm just saying that I think Rondo would win in a fight because he's crazy. He would go to any lengths to win that fight. He's a brawler.
Yeah. I loved also how quick the technicals were given.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say I love it. It's more sarcastic, but
right.
The ref was right there ready to blow that thing, and it's like I still don't understand it. Like, you think that once they see you give them a technical, they're going to stop all of a sudden? Like, oh, no, I got a technical. Like, in the heat of a moment, someone's not going to just stop.
Oh, my gosh. That was great. I love that. And then, hey, another guy from the Bulls, Mirotic, playing pretty well.
He is. Yeah, he's playing really well. He had a 30-point game. What was that, game 3, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, Portland, are they just a streaky team? Because it seems like they play well in bunches. They get cold, they get hot. They finished the regular season pretty hot, so we thought, hey, we like this team coming in and giving a good run against Golden State. And maybe their eyes were maybe they weren't focused on the short term and they were looking ahead to that. I mean, they were very disappointing.
Yeah, they're streaky. They haven't been able to find a forward that can play with their guards very well.
Yeah.
And the other problem is they're stuck. I mean, they're always going to be a playoff team, but never anything past that. And that's a very scary position to get in. I mean, we saw the Atlanta Hawks there for a while, the Memphis Grizzlies. So, you're getting into the playoffs, you're making it a round or two, but then you're not getting any high draft picks. And a place like Portland is not a very desirable free agent destination. So it's kind of tough when you're in that position.
Yeah, or you could even say where Portland was maybe 9 years ago,
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Yep.
With like Sergio Rodriguez, Rudy Fernandez,
Steve Blake.
Yeah. Andre Miller may have been there.
Yeah.
LaMarcus Aldridge before he started to peak. Brandon Roy got hurt.
Yep.
And they were just locked into that spot, and you don't want to be there. But I mean, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, disappointing.
It was. I don't think anyone had that series over in 4. That was a real quick run through by the Pelicans there.
Yeah. I'm curious. The thing that I'm most intrigued by, if we're going to see the Warriors against a team like the Pelicans, is I want to see Rondo and Draymond throw down.
I'm sure we would. I'm sure we'd see something like that.
And even just the guard matchups, I think, would be really cool because Rondo's an old school guard, and then the Warriors are the epitome of what the NBA is right now in 2018.
Yeah.
So I think there'd be some cool stuff happening. Interesting defensive matchups. Obviously, I like Golden State, but I think we could have a lot of fun with that series.
Yeah, and Thompson Holiday would be a really fun one to watch out for.
Yeah. All right, let's go over to another one here in the West, Evan, that deserves some time. How about Oklahoma City and Utah?
This is making my pick look really bad right now. I had OKC beating Houston.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Honestly, as soon as Utah got that win in OKC, I thought it could be 3-1. Utah's a really tough place to play at. And they've gotten into the heads of the Thunder, and when you get into someone's head and you get them thinking about you've won. So now it's not over yet. It's 3-1 still, going back to OKC. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on this one, Jack?
Evan, what did I say coming in? Do you remember?
You had the Jazz in 6, right?
Yep, Jazz in 6.
Yeah.
I said I'm just not sure about OKC as a unit together. They play a lot of hero ball. They're not really a group, and I love Utah as a group.
Yeah,
cohesiveness.
Utah plays like a team. The Thunder's superstars, their big three has not shown up in the fourth quarter in just about every game, which is very concerning. I was really banking on the fact that these guys would show up with a different playoff mentality and really start to take over, but Utah has gotten in their heads. I don't know. Have you been following the whole back and forth between Rubio and Westbrook?
Oh, yes, I have.
Yeah. Any thoughts on that?
Well, man, okay, so Westbrook, I don't exactly know where it all started. Again, I'm sure it starts with someone saying something to someone on the court that they don't like, maybe talking about someone's mother or girlfriend or sister, right? That seems like a common thing that we see. Yeah, so I don't know where it started. I don't exactly know how we got to what Westbrook said the other night, but he basically, I don't even know. I don't even remember what it was that he said. Maybe you can refresh my memory in a second, Evan, but I know what happened was Westbrook was like, basically, I'm going to come out and I'm going to kick your butt, and that did not happen.
No. Well, I mean, it did to a certain extent, but they didn't win the game. So
I mean, Rubio played very well still.
He did. He had 13, 8, and 6, I think, last night.
I think he had a little more, actually.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. But do you know what Westbrook said, or how this whole thing started up?
It was basically that. He said, I'm gonna shut that blank off next game.
I love it.
And I think honestly a lot of it just stemmed from Rubio balling out in Game 3, and I think Rubio putting up a triple-double against Mr. Triple-Double. I don't want to call him that because that's Oscar Robertson's nickname. But, Russell back-to-back years now averaging a triple-double. And then giving up a triple-double to Rubio the other night with 26, 11, and 10, I think it was. I think that was definitely upsetting to him that this Spaniard comes in and is balling out on him. The crowd's going nuts. And I think that definitely had something to do with it.
Yeah. Evan, you were correct. It was a 13, 6, and 8.
Okay.
6 rebounds, 8 assists.
Yeah.
And that's a very good game.
It's a solid game, yeah. He didn't shoot as well as he did the night before, or the game before. I don't think he did. But, yeah, no, and, you're getting back to going back to the aspect of Utah playing as a team and a cohesive unit. I mean, it's cool to see different guys stepping up. Mitchell's been pretty consistent the whole series, and I don't know if you saw he's the 5th highest rookie now in total points through his first 4 playoff games. Just trailing.
Okay, those stats though are just so. I mean,
it's still impressive. I mean,
it's impressive,
that's
but I feel like we have so many different stats like that. They're just hard to keep them all straight.
It is, but I mean, I think that's still, he's averaging 20-something a game in the playoffs now through his first 4.
He was my Rookie of the Year pick.
Yeah, and he's not playing. He doesn't look like a rookie out there. He looks like he's controlling the tempo. And Joe Ingles. I mean, that guy has got. He does not care what anyone else thinks. He's gonna fire his threes.
Well, Evan, the thing I think, going off that thought, what I like about Utah is they can have a game where Rubio shoots 4 of 12. And he's gonna help you out in a lot of other ways. I mean, his passing is so nice, so flashy. Looks like what we were, what the hype was on him coming out of the draft as being an amazing passer.
Yeah.
But the fact that maybe he shoots 4 for 12, maybe he doesn't have a great offensive game, scoring wise, but Joe Ingles can fill in there and give you 20 points.
Right.
Guys can step up when you need them to.
Right.
And I don't know. I honestly think, all right, get ready for this, Evan. I think that Utah-Houston could be a pretty good series, too.
I am with you, Jack. I am with you. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, OKC is disappointing. Another team that's disappointing. There's a lot left in this series. I think OKC is going to protect home court Game 5. Carmelo still hasn't been able to embrace being the third option role.
No, and he's been forcing too many shots.
Yeah, not giving you anything on defense.
No.
Yeah, frustrating.
It is. I agree. I think OKC wins Game 5, and then Game 6 will be pretty big back home in Utah.
Yeah. But, man, what a fun atmosphere last night. Great fans. Did you see Mitt Romney?
I did. He was getting into it, too.
Yeah, he was reminding Westbrook that was his 4th foul. In Westbrook's defense, that 3rd foul call I thought was a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
It looked like a clean block.
Yeah, I'm with you. And it's not the first time we've seen a guy get up early on the foul counts. We saw Oladipo a couple games ago, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fun, though. I like the Utah. I like how they had the different court set up the other night with the red and yellow look and then went all white last night.
Yeah, the white was nice.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. I'm curious where you are with these Utah jerseys. There's not a lot of consistency there. It's cool, like you mentioned, but I like the purple back in the Malone days.
Yeah. I like the purple, too. I don't understand the red and yellow. It looks really cool.
But it looks like the Suns, though. It doesn't look like the Jazz.
Yeah, and they're using every color with the red and yellow. Like, their normal jerseys are blue and green and yellow.
Yeah.
And you add red in there and orange, and you've got everything. So, I don't know. I guess they're just trying to sell jerseys.
I haven't been a big fan of the green with them.
No, I like the purple, too, like you were saying, with the mountains.
Yeah, the mountains. Those are some of my favorite jerseys. I love purple as a color, so.
Yeah.
All right. Do you know anything about what's going on? I saw a report that they're reviewing to see if Westbrook should be suspended for Game 5.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about that or the incident for it. Obviously, that would be a huge blow for the Thunder. I don't know. I need to look more into that. I guess that's kind of just a wait-and-see approach with him.
I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, he should be.
The league's going to want Westbrook playing in that Game 5 at home.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I think he should be fine. But Crowder's elbow to the Steven Adams' face, now that could warrant a suspension.
Yeah. Yeah, that
was a dirty play.
It was, yeah. There was another chippy one. I think it was Paul George and someone was involved.
Well, him and Ingles were just shouting at each other.
Okay, maybe that's game. Yeah. I'm thinking of Crowder.
He pushed. Well, Paul George pushed someone early on. I think it was Ingles right before an inbounds pass. I mean, I think if you're pushing, hey, whatever, that'll happen. But if these guys are throwing punches or haymakers, elbows, whatever, that's where I think you do need to step in, and you can't have that.
Right. And Crowder did get thrown out last night.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could. I mean, we'll see. It could warrant a suspension, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the NBA is the way that they've been operating. They want to limit this stuff, and Crowder is a guy that, if he's out, isn't going to swing a series if he misses a game. So I wouldn't be surprised if they make a statement here.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, let's go to the next big one, and that's obviously, whenever a series is centered around LeBron's down in a series. I mean, he's such a huge star. Indiana has been looking very nice. That's been a great series so far, hasn't it?
And yeah, it's been pretty good. It's been exciting both ways. Yeah, I don't know if they've been looking like particularly great. But yeah, right. I think it's been a good one so far.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
It has.
You know what I said about this one coming in, too.
Yeah, you said, what'd you say? They'd win game 1 and then might push them a little farther?
Yeah, I said I thought Indiana could be problematic for the Cleveland. I know you guys thought, hey, it's not a real great matchup for them. I think it actually isn't a bad one.
Yeah, and the more I watch this one now, I think that this could be Cleveland's most physical test.
Yeah.
If they were to get out of this one, I don't think a team like Toronto or Philly is going to be able to rough them up as much as Indiana's able to right now.
Yeah.
You got Lance and you got Bogdanovich, who just doesn't. He plays without caring. He's been balling out. I don't know if you'll see that kind of intensity out of another team. They're definitely Indiana's playing with nothing to lose right now.
Yep, exactly. I like them, and Reggie Miller made this point. I liked what he said, he's an Indiana guy, but there's a lot of merit to what he said, and that's a lot of these teams we've seen, there are a lot of players at this point who grew up watching LeBron.
Yeah.
And they're in awe of playing against him, and it's odd. They're not like, we saw the Raptors the last couple of years making comments like, oh, how are we supposed to compete with LeBron in the middle of the series?
Right.
The Pacers just don't care. They're like, we're tired of LeBron. We're tired of losing to his teams.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I can't remember who made the point. I think I was with one of my friends, Jordan Thomas. Jordan, JT.
Yep.
I think he was the one that made it. But some of these foreign guys, I don't know if they necessarily watch the NBA. They come over here and they just they don't care. Bogdanovich is scoring points. Joe Ingles, we mentioned. I mean, he doesn't care who Paul George is. Yeah. Bogdanovich doesn't care who LeBron is. So, I think I don't know if it's necessarily a point that you can necessarily focus everything on, but it's definitely something that I think should be mentioned.
Yeah, I think so. I think those guys love soccer.
Yeah.
I always see Dragic tweeting about soccer.
Yeah, Dragic is another one, yeah.
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 So, yeah, there's something to that, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't know. Where do you think this series is going to go, Jack? It's tied 2-2 right now. Game 5 is Thursday.
All right, well, let's comment on Game 4.
Sorry,
briefly.
Wednesday. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we can talk about Game 4.
Yeah, so people are right now listening to this podcast as they're driving home from work, getting ready for Game 5. But Game 4, I think what we saw was, I think it was really funny. I've seen so many people saying, man, Indiana needed that one. I don't know. I mean, yes, it would have been great to be up 3-1 and be able to close things out at home. But I don't know, Evan. I mean, they they went cold in the fourth quarter. Oladipo did not play well, and Cleveland still only won by 5.
Yeah. 4, I think it was.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm with you on that. Cleveland did not play one of their. I mean, they probably played one of their better games, and they only won by 4, which is crazy.
Yeah.
LeBron was not shooting well in the second half, I believe, but still he finished with 32 and 13. So I don't know. There's
LeBron.
I think there is something like what you're saying. I think Cleveland's still gonna win it, win the series, that is. But yeah, Indiana's definitely got something to build off of.
I just think that we talk so much when we did March Madness, and we see these teams that are underdogs and how they have to play a perfect game in order to beat a team that has a player like LeBron. And that Indiana was far from perfect in Game 4. And Oladipo, I'm pretty sure, did not play particularly well in Game 3 either. They still snuck that win away.
Yeah.
Snuck away with that win, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I was shocked that game was as close as it was for how poorly Indiana was in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Well, and I'm interested to see, too, what Nate McMillan, and he's done a fantastic job, by the way.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see, because Game 1, Indiana came out, and they had this game plan where, we're going to get Oladipo switched onto a big, and then see how the big plays him. He drops back, hit a 3. If he comes up on you, you got the speed to go past him. Cleveland was able to match that in Game 2. Game 3, it was very tight, but you had Bogdanovich going off, and now 4 was a loss. So I'm interested to see what adjustments Nate McMillan's able to make, if they're able to kind of keep going back and forth with this one, or if Cleveland is able to actually put them away now.
Yep, good point there. I also want to give credit to the officials. I think they've done a great job calling this series, and this is a tough series to call.
Yeah.
Based on the personalities, the players.
It's always tough when you got LeBron, too, I feel like.
Yeah, they've done a good job.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they've done a great job, and gotta love the Lance Stevenson-LeBron rivalry still going on, so.
I loved that play where Lance fought for the ball, and then he just held it up in the air like, I got it! He was like a little kid showing off his trophy.
It was. And let me make a point, too. He did it later in the game, too. I don't know if you saw that one with the Jeff Green tie-up.
Oh, well, yeah, of course I saw that.
Of course I saw that one, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting because at the time, games seemed to be over. But I made a comment to some friends that, I think Lance knew maybe it was, there's the chance of winning this one is kind of slim. But what he did by doing that was he slowed down the game. He slowed down, Cleveland's little celebration and kind of said, okay, it's tied up. You might have the advantage now, but we're still here, and we're gonna slow this down and play at our pace and play how we want to do things. So I thought that was a mini, a big moment in a smaller way.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm curious to see where it goes from here. We'll definitely be keeping a close eye on what happens in this series. It's probably been the most, in terms of the series that we have left, this is probably the most intriguing, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Most exciting.
Yeah, this one, I'm still excited about OKC Utah. But yeah, this one is definitely exciting.
Yeah, so it's been great. I'm thankful for Lance. I think that's a good point that you made. But having Lance out there in the playoffs, it's just fun.
Yeah, he gets so much better when he plays for the Pacers. I don't know what it is.
I mean, I don't even care how well he plays. I just mean for the personality of having him, it's fun. I'm thankful for characters like him.
It is, yes.
And old school guys too.
Yep.
So yeah, but to answer your question, Evan, I think this one's going all the way to 7.
Okay.
I think that there's a lot left. I don't really want to make a pick. I don't know. I don't want to be obsessive over these picks, but I'm just gonna enjoy this one down to the wire. I hope that there are no calls that swing this series, which is something that I was nervous about.
Right.
But I think the refs have done a wonderful job of this series.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But as I mentioned, even if Cleveland gets out of this, which I would probably say I would lean towards, I like Cleveland's chances to get out of this at home in Game 7. LeBron, all that. I mean, the fact that they, again, going back to that, where Indiana did not play well in the fourth quarter, it made me very nervous about Cleveland's chances moving forward, even if they get out of this series.
Yeah, there's definitely some worry, I think, with them and who's going to be able to step up for them, what kind of team this is. It's definitely not the LeBron team that we're used to seeing in recent years.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah, there's no Kyrie.
It's
big.
No Wade. No one else to really help him out. So there's still guys to help him out, but I mean, it's you don't have that other superstar with you.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, he does have Kevin Love.
Yeah, he does have Kevin Love. There's other guys that can step up too, but yeah, we'll see. It should be fun.
I think there's a lot of talent on that team, but it does hurt them that they've only played 20 games together.
Yeah.
I do think there is a possibility that getting out of this series could really bring them together, though.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you face some adversity, I think could help. And this is one that they're going to have to fight for, and I don't know if they're going to have to fight, as physically and mentally as they have in this one when they move on. I don't know if a team like Toronto is able to. There's other ways Toronto can get at them, but I don't know if it's the same way that Indiana is able to right now.
And the last one, Evan, I'm pretty sure this is the last series left that we haven't mentioned, right? There's only one more.
We had two more.
Two more. Okay,
yeah.
Well, is there any concern that you have now with Toronto? It seems like they're dancing around. Now it's 2-2, and I mean, they look so strong those first couple games. I mean, I'm still concerned about some team chemistry stuff with Washington.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a cause for concern there, even though they've won a couple of these games. However, I'm looking, again, big picture stuff. Toronto is just looking like same old Toronto after this, and I don't know. I mean, all these teams are very flawed, I guess.
Yeah, that's what makes it so much fun this year. Is that there's not really a true team that you can look at and say, other than the Warriors maybe, that you can look at and say that's the team that's, every team has got their problems. And Toronto, I don't know what's going on with them. They just seem to disappear in the playoffs, and I think they'll still get out of this series. It might take them it's going to take them 6 or 7 now. But yeah, Washington is putting it to them a little bit.
Yeah. What's the other series that we forgot?
Houston and Minnesota. That one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot to talk about there.
Yeah.
However, man, it is so great to just see Derrick Rose playing well.
Oh, he played.
I'm so happy
well.
about that.
Yeah. He played so well the other night. I think he finished with 17. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. Think so.
Yeah, and it's a good time. I don't know if we're going to see, I don't want to make this comparison quite yet, but remember how Anthony Davis was playing against Golden State a couple years back?
Yeah.
And he played well in that series, but he didn't necessarily take over. I think Karl Anthony Towns is kind of going through a similar stretch where...
Yeah, growing pains.
Yes, this is his first playoff series. Yeah. And he's supposed to be the leader of this team, but he started out slow. He's starting to pick it up a little bit more now. But I think it's definitely good when these younger guys can get in and start getting some early playoff experience. It sets them up better for their future.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it, Evan. It's a young team. This is their first time in the playoffs, so just to win a game or two, good moral victories there.
For sure, yeah.
And, I mean, there are a lot of people freaking out. I mean, hey, look at where the Timberwolves were without Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
And they only had a couple of games with him before the playoffs. So I think I like their chances moving forward. I would think Wiggins and Towns are going to take another step next year coming out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and just think, they were a game or two away from moving up a couple seeds, and who knows, we could have been talking about them leading a series. So, but I think it is definitely good to play against a team like Houston, just for learning purposes, and yeah, I think this team will definitely be back next year and in future years.
Me too, Evan. I want to make one last comment on Derrick Rose, and then let's switch gears and go over to another sport. Does that sound good?
That sounds good to me.
Okay. I was thinking about Derrick Rose. Obviously, love the fact that Tibbs is with him. That's just great.
Yeah.
Great to see there. But here, tell me what you think of this comparison.
Okay.
So recently, Matt Harvey there was a report he's moving to the bullpen. We've seen this happen a lot with pitchers who have achieved a great deal of success as starting pitchers, have moved over to the bullpen, though, based on health and the way they've pitched, and have reinvented themselves as very great, some even great relievers. Look at Andrew Miller. He was a guy that was he was a starter, and he was all right, but then he moved to the bullpen, and look at Andrew Miller now.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about Derrick Rose as a bench player, as a role player in this situation where there's less asked of him. It's basically, hey, you're not going to have to throw a fastball for 7 innings. You just got to throw it for 2 innings here.
Yeah.
Get us some outs. What do you think about that comparison?
I like that. Yeah, that's a good analogy, good comparison there. Yeah, and I think it's showing this playoff series. I think he came out and made the comment that he still plays a game where he likes to attack, and then either kick out to an open shooter or finish. And there's not a ton of players that like to do that. A lot of guys like to swing it around the perimeter now, but Rose still likes to draw that defense in, and yeah, he does it in spurts, like you were saying. So. As long as he's okay with that role, I think he could be like one of those guys you were saying goes from a starter to more of a reliever type position.
It seems like it's a good situation for him. I think he's embracing it. He's not a guy that I don't think he's ever been a huge ego-driven guy. I think he just wants to win games and wants to help the team however he can. Yep. And I think he's happy being with Tibbs, being with Jimmy, being with Taj, being with his old friends. He's been uncomfortable a lot of times in his career, and this has been a situation that he's been able to relax in and just have fun.
And he still wants to play. You can still see it. He's out there. He's only 29 years old, so realistically, he could play for another 5-6 years possibly. So yeah, I like where he's at with Minnesota. I think it's a good fit, like you were saying. I'm so happy to see him succeeding. Definitely one of my favorite players to watch.
Yeah, so I'd say it's like instead of throwing the fastball for 35, 40 minutes, he just has to do it 15, 20. Just give me that, and you're good, man. And he's looked great in that.
He has.
So... All right, do you have anything else you want to throw in there on these playoffs, or do you want to talk a little bit of hockey?
Just one point real quick. I was just looking at some of the notes from the game. Houston had a 50-point quarter last night, which is pretty crazy.
That was nuts.
Just wanted to throw that in there, yeah. They outscored, 50-20 in the third quarter over Minnesota. So... never a good sign when you're on the opposite end of that.
Yeah, that was funny, Evan, because I was watching the second quarter, and then I'm like, all right, let's go over for some hockey at halftime. So I watched the end of the Bruins game, and I watched the end of the Caps game, and then I'm like, okay, now I'll flip back for the fourth quarter of Timberwolves. I timed this really well, and then I just see the score, and I'm like, how the heck did that happen?
Yeah, they were up a ton, weren't they?
Yeah.
It was a lot.
It was about they were up 30 by the time, and Towns was on the bench, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
So that's nuts. Yeah, that team's looking good. I'm sure we'll have more to talk about with them. I don't really have any thoughts on them at this time. However, I think they're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, we'll definitely get back to them.
Yeah. So, Evan, how many minutes? I'm not even going to ask how many hours. How many minutes of playoff hockey have you seen so far?
Oh man, maybe a couple periods. I don't know. I probably close to an hour, I'd say.
Okay, that's something.
Yeah,
I've been watching.
It was only one game, but yeah.
Who were you watching?
The Golden Knights. I had to watch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
they're fun.
Yeah.
It's been a pretty fun first round. There's only one Game 7 that we're seeing, and that's going to be Boston-Toronto. That'll be played this Wednesday night. Tonight, Tuesday, there are no games. Everyone else is done.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been eventful. The big one that we're going to be looking at in the second round is we're going to see Ovechkin and Crosby facing off again.
Yes.
Third year in a row in the playoffs, fourth time I think that they've played each other in the playoffs in their careers.
I will be tuning in to watch that series.
Yeah, you have to.
Yes, yeah.
The two biggest stars, I mean, man, that'll be fun. Even though the fact that, I mean, we know the Caps have the talent to go toe-to-toe with the Penguins. They haven't showed up.
Right. Maybe this is the year.
I like what I saw out of them, though, winning the last 4 games after being down 2-0. They have a lot of momentum, a lot of confidence riding into the series.
Was that against Columbus?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Panarin scored that game-winning goal in Game 1, and Blackhawks fans were just, I mean, first of all, probably half the Blackhawks fans didn't even know about that. I'll just get that out of the way. And then the other half that are also fans of hockey outside of just the Blackhawks, they were upset. They're like, man, we let that guy get away.
Yeah. It's funny, too, some of the Blackhawks fans that are, happy that, first of all, the Blues missed out on the playoffs.
Yeah.
And now that in Minnesota nearly got swept. So, 2 of the bigger rivals are out.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Blackhawks fans are leaning on.
I suppose. I mean, it seems like a lot of them I've talked to are just like, man, yeah, it's weird. I don't have Blackhawks games to watch now, so
Yeah.
I guess I'll just be watching the NBA.
Right.
I'm like, you can't tell me Chicago's a hockey town if Buffalo's a hockey town.
Right.
I mean, Blackhawks. I mean, people love the Blackhawks. I'm not knocking on that. It's just it's not the most popular sport in the city.
Nope. Not at all.
So, what were you gonna say about? I think you were gonna say something about Blue Jackets Caps, maybe.
No, I didn't have anything much to say about that. Like I said, I did not watch a ton of hockey. I just thought it was impressive what the Golden Knights were able to do.
Oh yeah.
You can get to that if you want to. Yeah.
Man, they swept the Kings. I thought that the Kings. I mean, it was a younger team against a group of. As Sam Quiet described them, wily veterans.
Yes.
And, everyone knows about that team and Doughty and what's that other guy's name? I'm blanking on his name right now. Who's been there?
The Kings?
Yeah. Kopitar, the center.
That's it. Yes,
yeah.
Kopitar. Yep.
And then, yeah, they have a lot of guys who've been there since they won those cups. Alec Martinez, a defenseman.
Yeah.
He's a nice player. I mean, they're a little older, but I mean, we know what they're capable of doing in the playoffs. So that was a good test coming out of the gate, and they got swept.
Yeah, I mean that's huge. And then this is such a cool story. I mean, it's got to be one of the biggest ones in sports history, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
An expansion team in their first year, getting a 1 seed, sweeping a veteran team like the Kings, who have been there before. I hope they keep it going. I think it's such a cool story.
Me too. I think it's fun to have them. I think we'll see them in Nashville in the West
awesome.
Finals. I think it would be really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got some exciting second round matchups. We got a Game 7 in Boston. I had Boston in 7. I also had Boston winning the Stanley Cup this year.
Wow.
So I mean, I still am in on them. However, I am sweating a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
It has, yeah. And I need to start watching more. Just the little bit I saw. I've seen a lot of goals scored too. Just some of the scores.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on this year, but it seems like a lot of goals. Usually playoff hockey seems to be 2-1 or 3-2, something close like that. But
not a lot of overtime yet either.
No, not a lot of overtime. But like your Penguins have been putting up a lot of goals.
My Penguins, yeah. I suppose. I show some support to the Penguins as a Steelers fan. I am a Blackhawks fan, however. But, yeah, those two teams, the Flyers and the Penguins, they put it in the net a lot. So there's a lot of exciting action there with the goal scoring in that series. The other big surprise was the Sharks sweeping the Ducks in the first round.
Yes.
I didn't see any of those games. They start really late at night. But
yeah, those games are late. Yeah.
I thought that was going to I mean, those are two teams that have played each other a lot in the past. And I thought that would be one that would go to 6 or 7, but that was over pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't think Anaheim scored a ton in that series either, goal-wise.
No.
It just seemed like they were just kind of stuck. So,
they got pummeled.
Yeah. So we'll see the two teams that were able to pummel their opponents in the first round square off now. So,
lastly, I'll give a mention to our buddy Sam, who did the NHL preview podcast. He had no expectations for the Colorado Avalanche, and they won 2 games against the Predators.
Way to go.
I think he should be pretty happy just to win a couple of those games against that team, because that's a very, very good team.
For sure. It's got to look good for the future, too, I would think, for Colorado moving forward.
Yep, absolutely. So that's it for our hockey update for right now. I don't think you have anything else to add, Evan, do you?
I don't. We need Sam Quiet back.
Yeah, we'll bring him back soon. It should be fun.
What he's talking about.
Yeah, he's great. So
he's great.
All right, lastly, Evan, and we're going to run through this also pretty quick. Let's talk a little bit crosstown baseball in Chicago.
Okay. Now this is something I know a little bit more about.
All right, so White Sox out here making moves.
They are.
Picked up Trace Thompson for cash considerations from the Oakland A's.
He's
Evan,
back, baby.
Yeah, you like this, don't you?
I love it. I love Trace. I was so upset when they got rid of him a couple years ago because he had a fantastic season with the Sox.
Yeah.
But he's back now, and you're going to be seeing a lot of him.
I hope so.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard Avi Garcia just got placed on the DL today, so Trace is probably going to be starting this afternoon.
Right field?
Yes. So we're going to see he's going to at least get a couple weeks of action, I think, here, and he could hold on to a spot out there. We'll see.
That could also open a door for Charlie Tilson to eventually get called up.
I'd love to see Tilson up on the big league squad again.
Where would you project him to play? Because Trace is going to take up another spot in the outfield, but I think the White Sox like Tilson a lot still, despite the injuries that he's had. I think they still want to get him up there and get him some at-bats, right?
Yeah, I think when he comes up, he'll play center. Trace can move around. Trace might end up in left. I don't know what you do with Delmonico then. He's been playing well.
He could DH on some days, I suppose.
Yeah, I almost want to see Delmonico try out in the infield somewhere.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know if that'd be a spot for him or not, but yeah, I don't know. They've got, I think 3 or 4, maybe 5 guys moving forward that they can really move around out there in the outfield and play in different spots, try to figure out who's the best lineup to go with. But not quite as crazy as the Cubs and what you got going on up there. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's get to it in a second. I think, okay. Evan, though, your best outfield when you get Tilson up here is when you have Delmonico, Tilson, and Trace all playing together.
Yeah, I don't know what you do with Avi then. He's been
true.
Playing.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking with him injured.
Yes, with him injured, yeah, and that's a 3.
And maybe you trade him.
You could. He had a great year last year. They could have traded him then.
I thought they should have.
Yeah, and it was interesting too that with Avi going out, they called up Daniel Palka, who's been playing really well for Charlotte, instead of Tilson. Tilson's not been playing well. He's been in the leadoff spot, batting right around 200. But still, I think I would have tried to give him a shot maybe.
Well, I think they want to build him up slowly.
I think they do too, yeah.
He's had so many injuries. They weren't just going to bring him onto the big league roster to start the year. It makes sense.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is a lot of fans probably wanted to see Eloy Jimenez up, and it's not time for him yet.
Yeah,
he just started playing just last week with Birmingham, and he's off to a slower start, but he'll get his shot at some point. He'll be the guy.
Yeah, Evan, I think you want to get these young outfielders in there as much as possible to see which guys you can build a team around.
Yeah.
And Avi is still, I mean, he's on the younger side still.
Right.
But look at the Cubs and how their core, how many of those guys are now 24, 25, 26 years old.
Right.
I want to raise up guys that are around the same age.
Right. Especially, I'm always thinking basketball. You got to get them in there when they're 20, 21, 22. Baseball is definitely a different sport where you can definitely get a guy built up to the point where, when he is 26, 27, that's kind of the starting, the early prime years for a guy's career in baseball. So there's plenty of time for some of these guys. I am excited, though, for the day that Tilson comes back up.
Yeah, hopefully he can stay healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I think you definitely want to get those guys as many at-bats as you can. And I think Avi was a guy that you really could have traded last year and gotten a really nice package back because he was having a career year.
Yeah. Yeah, he was having a big-time year last year. I think he could still put together a similar year, but it will be interesting to see what they do moving forward with that outfield.
Yeah. So, but Evan, I know you had higher hopes for the team in terms of record this year, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's not looking good. 5-14 right now as we speak on Tuesday. But they did go off Monday
put up
night.
Runs yesterday.
Yeah.
I think, Evan, I think it's okay. I do think the White Sox are going to be a top 5 pick in the draft next year.
Yeah.
I think that's totally fine.
Yeah.
You got to get worse before you can get better. Even going back to hey, look at how the Phillies have started out this year, right?
Right.
14-7, I believe, coming out of the gate, first 21 games. That's a really nice start. Last year, they lost more games than they did the year before.
Yeah.
They're growing pains, and you just got to get through them. And, the Sox best prospects are still working their way up through the minors.
Right. And I wasn't expecting a playoff run this year or anything. I think that's coming next year or the year after. But yeah, it's fun. I think it's going to be one of those fun years where we're going to see a number of guys come up, spend some time. We get to learn, Moncada a little bit more, and
he's looked nice lately.
Yeah, he's been playing really well recently. He was a single away from the cycle last night.
Yeah, saw that.
And then, Ronaldo Lopez has been pitching really well. He doesn't have a ton of wins just because of, the lack of run support. But I like him as, I don't know if he's an ace, but he could be a solid 2 or 3 guy in the lineup rotation. So we'll see. I like all the young guys. It's just going to be a tough year or two here. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah. Sad situation going on too.
Yeah. I'm definitely praying for. I'm guessing you're talking about.
Yeah.
Gosh, what's it? How do you even say his last name? Farquhar.
Yeah.
I'm sure most people have heard. Passed out the other day in the bullpen. What was it for again, Jack? What
brain aneurysm?
That's what it was. Yeah. So
horrible.
Definitely praying for him and his family and everything.
Yep. All right. So on that somber note, let's go over to the Cubs.
Sounds good.
All right. There's really only one thing I want to talk about, and then we'll wrap up this podcast. But I think you know what that is.
Yes. Go for it, Jack.
All right. Why don't you say it? So because I'm going to be talking a lot, I want to give you a chance to talk now while you can.
I'll just say Albert Almora Jr.
Yep.
Take it away, Jack.
All right. So Ian Happ has been struggling in center field and in the leadoff spot for a while. It's no secret. He struck out in about half of his at-bats. And I've been saying it for 2 years now. He's not a center fielder. I don't really know what was going on there. But it seemed that the team finally maybe reached a boiling point, and it's now Almora's time to shine and just get in there every day, which I think he should have. I think this should have happened much sooner, but I'm happy to see it happening now.
So you do believe he's an everyday guy?
Oh, yes. Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
I thought, so, Evan, going back, I actually thought back when, so if we're going back to the 2015 team, so that was the year that Bryant and Addy and Schwarber, all those guys came up, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Bias came up at the end of the year, and I thought, okay, Almora's going to come up in the middle of 2016, and it's going to be his turn to play every day, like all these other guys are getting that chance.
Yeah.
However, I was not expecting the Cubs to have Dexter Fowler still on the team and Jason Hayward on the team. So it was a crowded outfield situation, and you could only get him in. I mean, I could understand at the time, like, you aren't going to just, you're competing for a championship. Maybe you don't want a rookie playing center field every single day. That's fair.
Right.
But I thought going into last year with Fowler leaving the team and not having a center fielder on your roster until they added John Jay a little later in the postseason. Actually, it wasn't that late, but I mean, I thought Almora was really going to start to get some opportunity last year, and he didn't.
Yeah, and now he seems to finally be getting them. Joe's put him in there, and I think it helped that it started when they were on the road in Colorado, right?
Maybe so.
Maybe
really, I want to give a lot of credit to David Kaplan.
Yeah.
So
he's the man.
Yeah, for people who might not know, if you listen to this podcast outside of the Chicago media market, David Kaplan, over the past maybe 5 years, has become somewhat of a Chicago media. He's definitely been an icon for a while, but he's ascended to legendary status, I would say, over the past couple of years, right?
Yeah, I would agree, yeah.
He's a big deal. So he has he's written in the Trib, I believe, for a while. He just kind of does it whenever he wants to. He was on WGN for a while. He did radio. He had the show Cap and Haw. And then now he's on ESPN 1000. He has Cap and Company. And he's been doing the post-game show with the Cubs for a number of years now. I'm not exactly sure what year he started, but he's been on there for a while. And
yeah, that man works. Let me tell you. You ask those that know him, and they tell you he works hard. He's up early in the morning, working out, getting his morning ready, and then he's doing all kinds of shows and following all kinds of sports. And he's definitely a legend.
He's someone that, if you want to get into journalism, he's someone that people should look at because he does it all with such passion.
Oh, yeah.
He's got so much passion behind what he does. Anyway, where he comes into the picture here is, since last summer, he's been advocating for Almora to get in there more. He was a little more subtle about it initially, but given the way things were going, I think he did an amazing job as both a member of the press and a member of the post-game show. I mean, he wears a lot of hats. If you are on the post-game show and you're the studio host, like, you have to be careful about what you say about the team.
Yeah.
But because he has such a good relationship with all the players, with everyone, who runs the team, he felt like he could comment. And he also has a show, Sports Talk Live, that he hosts. And about 2-3 weeks ago, he started saying, all right, enough is enough. You got to get Ian Happ out of center field in the leadoff spot. That's just not what he is. To Ian Happ's credit,
he was with you, man.
To Ian Happ's credit, it's just not fair to him because it's not a role that he probably has ever been in before in his life. And now you're expecting him to outplay a guy like Almora, who has the tools to be an elite defensive outfielder. So it's not fair to Happ to just make him, just say like, yeah, we're expecting you to do all this stuff. And I'm sure he was nervous because he knew that there was a guy who was better at playing the position than he was. And then he's only in his second year. So he was saying enough is enough. It's time you let Almora in there. And I think that ever since then, there's been a little more pressure on the Cubs to not allow this situation to get out of hand. to not allow it become something where Schwarber is leading off, like, because that experiment lasted much longer than it should have. So the Cubs cut the cord on this much sooner, so it only lasted about 3 weeks or so, and now I'm hoping that it's over, because I think given what you've seen from Albert Almora Jr., even if he bats 200, he's so good defensively that he's going to help you so much as a defensive player. He had 3. Did you see the catches he made on Sunday, Evan?
Yes. Oh my goodness. The one looked like Willie Mays.
That was on Saturday.
Okay. Sunday? No, I did not see them on Sunday then.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they did kind of look like Willie Mays on Sunday, but he made 3 just amazing catches that the average center fielder, I'm not even talking about Happ, the league average center fielder makes maybe one of those catches, does not make all 3 of those catches.
Yeah.
So he made 3 amazing catches that, with runners on base in several of them, I'm not sure if in all of them, but at least 2 of them, there were runners in scoring position with 2 outs, and he saved a lot of runs.
Yeah, when you get a guy like that, that's, like you said, he may only bat 200, but you can live with that if he's making defensive plays like that,
But Evan, here's the thing. He's batting .327.
Yes.
I believe that is his average.
Yeah.
And in the games that he started, his OBP has been over 400.
Man.
Wow. So that looks like the easy answer to the 2-year search of replacing Dexter Fowler.
Yep. Think they found their guy.
I think so. And look, I know a lot of people are going to want to say, man, what was Joe Madden thinking? I think I just want to take one step back. Before we assign blame to someone, managers make decisions based on what their bench coaches tell them. They'll also make decisions based on what the front office tells them.
Yeah.
We don't know what kind of conversations are going on. What if Madden has been wanting to see Almora for a long time, and now he's finally getting to play? I don't know. I don't know what led into these decisions. At the same time, the front office clearly likes Ian Happ, clearly likes Kyle Schwarber. They could have traded one of them to get a pitcher when they really needed a pitcher coming in the season, instead of but they signed Yu Darvish because they wanted to keep all those guys.
Right.
So they're clearly high on wanting these guys to share time. So I don't really think it's fair for us to assign blame to anyone. However, what I will say is that whoever was behind this decision made a big error.
Yeah. In playing Happ and all them, you're saying?
By not letting Almora get a chance to play every day.
Yeah.
And letting Happ play center field. Putting him in that position, because it's not fair to Happ. No. Just look at what people are saying to Happ on social media. It's brutal.
Yeah.
Well, he should have never been in that situation to begin with.
It hurts any value, too, that if they were trying to trade Happ or Schwarber and get them in the game more, it kind of hurts some of that value when you put a guy in a situation that he's not best fit for.
Yeah,
I think Ian Happ's got a place in baseball.
Absolutely,
for sure. But it's not at center field.
Not in center field, and I think it's just it seems like the way we're going is that, and maybe this is just a kryptonite of the front office. It seems like maybe the Cubs are just going to be trading guys when they're not at their best value.
Yeah,
look at when they moved Starlin Castro. They basically just dumped him.
Right.
And Starlin Castro is a nice player. He's a good hitter.
Oh, yeah.
It was just a salary dump.
We just saw him the other day up in Miller Park.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I don't know. You would think they'd want to trade a guy at his peak and when he's coming off of a good year. Like you were saying, they could have traded Schwarber or Happ last year. I don't know. Maybe they'll get more time. They're able to build up some value, and then they can flip them at the deadline this year.
Yeah, and I'm not exactly sure what they're going to get back, because They did spend a lot on Yu Darvish, and that doesn't look great at the moment. However, it's too early to judge the decision. Cut him a little bit of slack there. Lastly, I mean, I'd just say great on David Kaplan, great on David DeJesus. After the post game, the last couple of games, they've been applauding Almora. They've been saying this guy needs to be in there every single day. Yeah, and I think the press, it's a job of the press to hold figures accountable at times. That's one of the responsibilities of the press. Yeah, and Cap's a Cubs fan. He's he wears a lot of hats. I think he did a great job here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that this is the direction that we stay in for a while, that Almora doesn't have to earn his keep anymore.
No, I think they found their guy.
I mean, he's been here the whole time.
Yes.
I don't know.
It's just now that he's finally getting his shot. So
I think if you want to look at real quickly, I would just say Almora had maybe a season or two in the minors where I think he didn't play as well as they had hoped. I think he developed maybe a little slower than they were expecting. He also was the only one of these. So there are 4 guys that they picked. He was the first pick that the front office had, the new front office, when they came in. They had 4 first round picks, okay?
Yeah.
So Almora, Schwarber, Chris Bryant, and Happ. Those were the 4 guys. Almora was the only one of those who came out of high school. So the other guys didn't have to stay in the minors as long. And Almora had, a rough year or two where his dad was diagnosed with cancer and he didn't play as well. He got hurt. And I'm wondering if maybe the front office just lost their excitement for him. But so I don't exactly know how we got to this point. I'm just glad that he's finally getting in there.
Yeah. No, I'm happy to see smart decision making, and it seems like they put aside anything like you were saying, whether it's front office or Joe Madden doing it, or whatever it may be. Maybe they just didn't think he was that great of a player. Now they've seen it. I think I'm glad to see they put that aside, and he's getting his time now. I don't know a ton about him. I mean, is he a guy that's going to keep up this tear in terms of hitting? We talked, he's batting .327 right now. Is that his game? I don't know a ton about him.
Well, I don't know about the numbers, what those are going to look like. He's absolutely shredded left-handed pitching. He kills lefties. He's deadly. And last year there was a time where he was the best hitter the Cubs had in the postseason. I mean, he was hitting very well.
No, I remember that. I remember you texting me about that, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the tools are all there. Everyone's always said he can't hit righties, but coming into this year, for his career, he's hitting .275 against righties, which is pretty dang good.
It's good, yeah. I'd take that.
I'm not going to make a number prediction, but I think he's going to continue this, and I think you got to ride with this lineup for right now.
Yeah, and what are they? They're 3-1 with him now inserted in.
Well, over the last 4 games, yeah.
Over the last 4, yeah. And so 3-1.
Prior to that, they had won the last 4 games. So, basically the last 8 games that he started in, the Cubs are 7-1.
Yeah, you got to stick with him.
Yeah, and it affects everything: the leadoff position, the defense. And lastly, I just want to say, if you're wondering what his ceiling is, I mean, I truly believe that he's a star in the making. I think, at the very least, he's a multi-Gold Glove guy. And at his best, I mean, I'm not going to throw in the words Hall of Fame or anything like that, but multi-All-Star. I think he's a star. I think he's going to be at the very least, he's a really, really good player to have on your team.
Sweet. I'm going to look forward to him.
Yeah, and
look forward to watching him more.
Yeah, and again, it's not about just home runs. I mean, you got to have some contact guys in there. He's a good contact hitter to have. So,
yeah, especially at the top of the order, like you were saying, get guys that can get on base.
His speed is a little underrated too. He's a good base runner. He's just got great instincts, and I mean, I think there are a lot of things that people like about Javi Baez in Albert Almora Jr. However, he may not have the same personality that Javi Baez has.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad the Cubbies found their leadoff guy, it seems like now, and their center fielder. So
Yep.
that's awesome.
I hope this keeps up. We'll see. But
Yeah.
Evan, lastly, anything you want to promote on here? Twitter handle, blog?
Yeah. So Twitter handle, Evan_on_earth96.
Oh, good handle. Good handle.
Yeah, someone came up with that for me. Jack Vita. And my blog is emyers116.blogspot.com. I know I keep saying it every time I'm on here. Big board is coming soon for the NBA draft. Yes, that is coming soon. Working on getting that all prettied up and squared away, but that is coming, so be on the lookout for that. There should be multiple installments too leading up to June and the draft then. So yeah, that's me right there. So thanks so much again, Jack, for having me on this. I really appreciate it.
Yep, thanks for coming by, Ev. It's been fun.
Tons of fun as always.
Yep. All right, we'll see you soon.
All right, take care.
All right, so that's Evan Myers. Once again, thankful for him to be joining me on the show. Lots of fun stuff here going on. Went a little longer there on baseball than I had expected, but it's just such a great time of year with all the baseball, the basketball, the hockey. If you're big on football, you got the NFL draft. However, I'm not as big on that. So if you're looking for an NFL draft podcast, I'm sorry, I can't help you out here. But moving forward, I hope to have Evan on again soon, talk more about these playoffs. Sam is going to come back, Sam Quiet, for some NHL talk at some point. Also have a couple other guys who haven't been on before who I'm trying to get on soon, just for this other stuff, NBA, NHL. Evan and I might do something on the Kentucky Derby next week. So lots and lots of just great sports content out there. Just it's so much fun to have all these games going on at the same time. Being able to flip channels during the commercials, I know I'm very grateful for it, and it's been a lot of fun. So definitely looking forward to sharing that information and content with you. Also, Jordan Morandini should be back sometime too. So yeah, we're gonna keep bringing you some good fun sports talk, and yeah, that's what we're doing. So lastly, if you would like to follow me on Twitter at Velvita7, VELLVITA7. You will be kept up to date on all the latest podcasts. I sometimes post clips from the show on there, and it's a lot of sports talk, lots of sports thoughts. You can get in touch with the show that way. Tweet me your thoughts. Leave us a review on iTunes. Comment on our blog post for these, or write a review on iTunes. Follow us on Podbean, Press On Sports, or subscribe to Press On Sports on iTunes. That would be awesome. And yeah, thanks again to everyone for listening. Your support does not go unnoticed. It is very greatly appreciated by me, and I'm excited. It's a lot. There's a lot going on. So, other than that, now I'm done. Bring in the dancing lobsters. See you next time.